Great. All right. First up, we have Jennifer Geyer and then Marcia Mulroney.
Okay.
Whenever you are.
In May of this year, Shannon Clark, Director of Curriculum and Learning Design, invited me to participate in the English Language Arts curriculum revision. Working alongside Robin O'Donnell and Caitlin Newland, Shannon felt I'd be a good community lens. I'm honored and sobered with this responsibility, and I take it very seriously. And I hope that I'll be a valuable team member and that I'll represent my community well. To that end, I've been attending many parent meetings in our district, asking questions and taking notes, and I've interviewed several high school students and teachers. So respecting the time limit, I summarize my findings as follows. Parents are craving transparency. Education's become shrouded in professionalized mystery, and parents feel dismissed. These are their children, and it seems the schools have forgotten that. Parents want to know what their children are learning. They are profoundly disturbed about subjects presented to especially young children with regard to human sexuality and critical race theory. Parents want unbiased, truth-based education. They want teachers to be educating and not training up activists. Students were fun. They want exposure to excellent material and challenging ideas. There's a high school honors English class, one student nicknamed Men Behaving Badly. The only material they read the entire year were articles about people like Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. That's not honors English. Students want to discuss and debate ideas and all perspectives without being called out by their teachers for unconscious bias, patriarchy, capitalism, privilege, or conform to their teacher's bias in order to be graded fairly. They don't want to be divided into intersectionality groups, and they do not want to be told what to think. They want to be taught how to think, reason, and debate. And then finally, teachers. Many teachers express that they're frightened that they'll be forced to make decisions of conscience. They know they can't go along with the teaching of hypersexualization in early elementary school and critical race theory and feel their time in the classroom is coming to an end. Elementary teachers are uncomfortable when they're told they can no longer say girls and boys or talk about Thanksgiving in a positive way. Teachers are disheartened when 45 out of 90 reaccrediting hours are required to be completed in cultural diversity studies, where the environment is one that asserts you're a racist no matter what you do. And finally, teachers are concerned when they're told their new curriculum is not CRT, but it is. Deep equity is CRT, honoring, celebrating dimensions of identities, intersectionality, disrupting implicit bias, moving from social dominance to social justice, dismantling disparities, etc. My calling is to work on curriculum. I'm very excited about that. These other issues are far too broad and too deeply entrenched for me to consider, but for the health of our school, I think they should not be ignored. May we move forward in transparency and collaboration, desiring truth and excellence in all things. And should the board see fit to grant me 5 minutes during a work session, I believe you would find the information that I felt was a bit more personal with names attached not edifying for the group, but I'd be happy to share.
Marcia Mulroney.
I hadn't really planned on speaking tonight. I was just coming to listen, but I echo everything Jennifer says. I'm concerned about critical race theory and whatever you're calling it. I've been down to talk to people at the school district, and I'm not getting satisfying answers. I feel like they've been obfuscating. I'm also concerned about our basis for American history. Are we using the 1619 project, or are we using 1776? I don't have children in the school district. I am a retired teacher from Southern California. I had 5 to 7 languages spoken in my classroom. I had very few English-only students. I taught 5th grade, which is American history, but to teach the Constitution, I had to teach it after school on my own time, and I got in enough trouble for that. I believe that I felt like what I did as a job was I sold education. I didn't care who you were. I just wanted you to believe that you could get an education and you would succeed in this country. I'm concerned about critical race theory and the 1619 project. Thank you.
Hello, Nicole Bush, 726 West 6th Street in Loveland. I have an information packet for you guys that has a cover letter. I'll try to read as much as I can, but I won't get through it. My name is Nicole Bush, and I have 2 school-aged children that plan on attending Thompson schools. First, I would like to thank you for your service over the past year and a half. I'm sure it wasn't easy. I would like to thank you all for the email that you sent out to all Thompson School District parents on July 8th. We cannot thank you enough for finally putting our children first with your decision to not require masks, social distancing, or vaccines in our schools. You know that medical interventions of any kind need to be decided by the individual families and their doctors, not politicians. After over 18 months of careful data collection, the verdict is in. Children are at very low risk of even developing mild symptoms from COVID, and it has a statistically negligible chance of being hospitalized or dying from it. Not a single child under the age of 18 has died in our county. While every death is heartbreaking, these numbers show that school closures masking healthy kids and forcing children to social distance were never warranted to begin with. During the pandemic, children under the age of 14 were more likely to die from cancer, vehicle accidents, suicide, which every parent here knows is becoming an epidemic itself, homicide, cardiovascular disease, drowning, and the flu. They were more likely to die from any of that than from COVID. Despite all of the mounting scientific data and evidence that our children are not in danger from COVID and pose little threat to others, the CDC is trying to forcibly mask them, distance them, and jab them. Thank goodness we have a board of directors that actually cares about our children enough not to subject them to these insanely detrimental and abusive policies and take away the individual's innate right to choose what is done to their body. In this packet, I hope you will let me give you, there is a study titled, "Is a mask that covers the mouth and nose free from desirable side effects in everyday use and free from potential hazards?" Turns out they are not. The study references 44 experimental studies and 65 scientific publications on the harmful effects of masks during prolonged use. The study concludes that prolonged mask wearing is likely to result in long-term disease-relevant consequences, such as high blood pressure, arteriosclerosis, including coronary heart disease, as well as neurological diseases. The other physical and psychological effects found in mask wearers in this study include hypoxemia, hypercapnia, acidosis, immunosuppression, toxicity, increase in stress hormone levels, activation of fight or flight response, shortness of breath, increased muscle tension, chronic stress condition, compromised cognitive performance, that's good in school, fear, fatigue, headaches, mood disturbances, inflammation, insomnia, and dermatological problems. And these can lead to these health consequences: increased predisposition for viral and infectious illnesses, anxiety, depression, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, and exacerbation of conditions and diseases. With the mounting scientific evidence that masks are causing physiological and psychological harm to our children, you know the only rational and compassionate choice is to allow parents, students, and teachers to make their own decisions about masks and all other medical interventions.
Thank you, ma'am. Your 3 minutes is up. The buzzer
sorry.
doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
But if you have a packet that you would like us to read, if you would give that to Laura Lee, and then we can take it from there. Thank you. I appreciate it. Connie Stakowiak, and then Christian Jorgensen.
My name is Connie Stakowiak, and I live in West Loveland. I would like to thank you for listening to me and my concerns over this past year that's been a complete farce. I pretty much was going to say literally everything all of these people have already said, and I know I speak for tons and tons of people when I say I've pretty much chalked up this past year's my children's education to the trash can. It's been rough for everyone, and I have watched my kids struggle and strife and cry, and my son went through depression. He said, "Mom, I feel hopeless." I just think what we're doing to our children is disgusting. If we would have put a mask on our kids 2 years ago, we would have had Child Protective Services call us for child abuse. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I have been in healthcare for 30 years, okay? The masks don't do anything. I am encouraging the board to do your due diligence and look things up, do your research. First of all, mandates, not laws. Okay, we don't have to follow those. The rights that are being stripped from us and our children, they have the right to an education, they have the right to their freedoms and their liberties, they're all being ripped and stolen from them, okay? I'm not gonna stand by idly anymore and poison my children. I'll have you know, masks, wearing a mask all day long to those poor babies increases their chances of throat cancer by 30%. They are breathing their own waste. Second of all, I'm sorry, I have to compose myself. I'm just so upset right now. I don't even know what to say. I worry about the long-term damage to my children's health. We are raising a generation of kids that are going to have mental health issues. They are living in fear. They are scared to death to socialize, scared to death of what's happening in the world. We need to teach them what's right. I don't know if any of you are aware that there has been a patent on the COVID virus and a patent on the vaccine for years. Go and look it up. It's on the government website. We're being lied to. We've been lied to for a year and a half. You people need to wake up, do your due diligence, look up what's actually happening in this world, and do what's right for our children. Please, I'm begging you. Thank you.